Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Star Flames. So a lot is going on with Sean Diddy Combs. People are making up a lot of rumors. We're not going to talk about what people choose to make up about Sean Diddy Combs' arrest, getting denied bail and all of that. We're going to go with the facts, okay? So let's get into it. And remember, while you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed as yet, hit that subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell as well. Now, guys, I also have to say that, like, I'm here lurking in the bushes, waiting on Sloan Bella to go live. In case you have no idea who Sloan Bella is, she is a psychic medium. She spoke to Kim Porter after live, and Kim Porter was like, Sean Diddy Combs took me out, and I'm going to ensure that he pays for that ish, okay? Those weren't the exact words. I'm just exaggerating things a bit. However, Sloan Bella told us that Kim Porter did not die of pneumonia. It was toxic metal poisoning. Sean Diddy Combs was allegedly a part of it. And if Diddy was a part of the team who took down Cassie, it is not Cassie. Oh my God, God forbid. Kim Porter is because of, if you guys remember, that huge roundtable meeting, and Kim Porter saw something that was so repulsive to her, that was, having to do with minors. She refused to be a part of that. And because of that and the many things she had against Sean Diddy Combs, they took her out. Kim Porter told Sloan Bella the month that Diddy's downfall would start happening, and we could see evidence of that consistently. Sloan Bella also told us that every time Diddy thinks that he's fixing something, it's gonna keep getting worse because he is the sacrificial lamb for his handlers. Now, let's get into it, because there's something I see a lot of people talking about. So many people are talking about 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Oh my God, what is he doing with 1,000 bottles of baby oil? And the bigger question that people are missing is the mere fact that he has over 1,000 bottles of baby oil on hand. He had a booming business, and the question should be, how many political figures are involved? How many other celebrities are involved? Because do you think that he had those just for himself? It doesn't matter. Even though the court document says, the free coughs would go on for days. Those were not just for Sean Diddy Combs. Those weren't just for his victims. Those were for his sex workers. Those were for the clients. Remember, Sloan Bella tells us that they're pushing this gay agenda, the transgender agenda, because many political figures and elites, they are deeply into men more than we know. So these men would go to Diddy. Diddy would provide a service. Based on documents, these people would be drugged and assaulted. What does the oil do? Well, you read between the lines. So instead of focusing on why this man had over 1,000 bottles of baby oil, the question that you should be asking is, if he had over 1,000 bottles of baby oil, it means that he had, if you know anything about math, right? He had at least 100 customers who were prominent figures of society. We're not talking about regular people. We're talking about people who had great money, power, and connection. That should be your focus. Those things should be your question. Also, let me refreshen your memory. The moment that is LA and Miami mansion was searched, he should have been arrested because, again, Sloan Bella told us that the information that they found, it was extremely overwhelming. He should have been behind bars at that moment. But allegedly, Barack Obama was keeping him out of jail. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything because I really don't have a political agenda. I have a people agenda, and my people agenda is believing that, let's talk about things and call out things for what they are. No, we've seen so many videos of Sean Diddy Combs and Barack Obama, in the past, with the former president Barack Obama giving Diddy his flowers, so to speak, praising him. And that's the reason why when Young Miami came out and said that at the time that she was with Sean Diddy Combs, he was being celebrated by the world, many people were offended by that statement. And I cannot understand why is it that so many people were offended by this girl speaking the truth. Now you can say that, but she has transported drugs for him based on the court documents, based on the lawsuits and all of that. Yes, that might be true. However, it does not dismiss the fact that she was correct when she said that when she met Sean Diddy Combs, he was being celebrated by the world. And then all of a sudden, people wanted her to look like the bad guy because she was with him. Even if she still stayed with him, it doesn't mean that Young Miami's experience was the same as a Cassie Ventura experience. And that is something that we really need to take into consideration. She has also since then expressed the fact that she's no longer with him, which honestly, I don't believe. I do believe that they will still have this, bond, this connection, which will, fade gradually as things get worse for him. No. Sean Diddy Combs, so far, he has been denied bail because the evidence that they have, it's overwhelming. They have video evidence of freak-offs. They have phone conversation of him bribing people and how convincing he is to people. There were other people who wanted to come forward, with a lawsuit to tell their story. And he was very convincing to those people not to step forward with any claims or any lawsuit. And, he did everything because what his legal team is arguing is that he knew that they were coming for him and he was cooperating all the way through. He even moved to New York to facilitate the Fed's arrest and all of that. So the mere fact that he has been cooperating, change address, hand over his kids' passport, giving up his, putting up his mom's house as a collateral. So they're basically, making this man look as though he's such a law-abiding citizen. However, the evidence that they have against him is proving otherwise. Sean Diddy Combs has since then argued that, hey, since you've refused to, I've even told you guys to set my bail at $50 million. I understand your concern. Since you guys have refused that, I'll do something even better than that. I'll stay away from females. I'll ensure that I wear a ankle monitor and I will not move from this point to X point. So they're pushing for him to, really get out on bail after he had pled not guilty. Now, the criminal charges that are being levied against him, it's going to bring other people into this court case. And I believe we're going to hear about prominent figures again. We're going to hear about, celebrities. I believe we're going to hear about politicians as well. Sloan Bella told us that everyone that has worked for him, they're going to basically exchange information for their freedom. Diddy is going to start exposing his handlers, and at that point in time, they're going to stitch his mouth shut. Remember that his handlers are people who deal in the art of magic on the highest level. These are the same people that is involved in the death of Bob Marley and quite a few other, artists. Like, if you don't agree with their soul contract for them to manipulate your consciousness, they find means and ways to take you out. They travel on the astral, and that's where they do their dirty dealings. Many people believe that, when you're dead, that's the end of life. But no, death is just another transition of life. And if you should follow Sloan Bella, watch some of her videos, she will actually tell you what Hollywood has been up to, the games that they've been playing. So the game that they're going to play with Sean Diddy Combs is that Diddy is their sacrificial lamb. The moment that he starts talking, they're going to stitch his mouth shut, whether it might be through their practice of energy manipulation, or they're just going to take him out. They can actually manipulate his energy for him to take out himself, to make it seem as though he intentionally did it, even though he did not intentionally did it. So he's dealing with some very powerful people. Now, as I've said, we're going to get into some of the reports because a lot is coming out. They're talking about him basically abusing people, threatening people, coercing women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct for more than a decade. But I'm concerned, why is it that Sean Diddy Combs is arrested? Christina Curran is just out there walking about freely when there's so much evidence that has been highlighted in these lawsuits against her. But as time progresses, I believe that we may potentially see, again, other staff or people that was a part of his staff getting arrested. No. We're going to CNN. CNN is saying Sean Diddy Combs is expected Wednesday afternoon to appeal a federal judge decision to hold the hip-hop artist and music mogul without bail after he pleaded not guilty in federal court to charges for racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution Tuesday. No, let's pause there. The racketeering conspiracy is what is going to bring in a lot of people in this case, because if you understand racketeering, it takes a group of people. Now, if you guys also remember, there's one thing we know about sex trafficking. Wherever there is a sex trafficking case, you guys can look at past case, present case. There's always a prominent minister of religion being involved. Before Sean Diddy Combs' arrest, many people believe that the prominent ministerial figure is T.D. Jakes, but I think that we might be in for a surprise as to who that is, because it takes a group of people. And again, there's always a prominent political figure involved. So I believe that we are really in for a surprise as to the names that are about to come out in this case. But let's continue. Now, until a court appearance in New York in front of U.S. District Court Judge Andrew Carter at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Central Standard Time, Combs will be held by himself at a special housing unit in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, according to law enforcement officials. So he's in a detention center, not a jail or prison facility. The detention center shares some amount of similarity, but the area that he's in, he's basically in a house with security. He still have everything to his, access. He still has luxury, still getting his best meal and all of that. So no, they're coming out to say he's in danger and all of that. That's a lie. But his legal team, they're going to use everything to their advantage to ensure that he posts bail. This is how they roll. But the mere fact that he's in a special housing unit in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, this man is under no threat whatsoever. The only threat that he's in, again, is from his handlers, and they're going to do what they need to do. No prison cell or any accommodation can actually save him from those people. Well, let's continue, right? The prosecution alleges Combs 54 created and ran a criminal enterprise through its business empire that engaged in crimes including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, according to the federal indictment. Do you guys remember the blowing up of Kid Cudi's car? All of that is going to come back into the court. The nightclub shooting. J-Lo is going to go to court. I can't wait. I cannot wait. But let us continue, right? U.S. Magistrate Judge Robin Chodnowski ruled Tuesday that Combs stay in custody while he faces charges. He faces a sentence of up to life in prison if convicted. Prosecutors oppose releasing Combs on any grounds, telling Tarnowski he has attempted to tamper with witnesses and saying the risk of danger is acute. They pointed to an alleged cache of weapons found in the closet of Combs' bedroom and his access to millions of dollars in bank accounts and cash that make him a flight risk. Try to sway a federal judge to release Combs while he awaits trials, his lawyer submitted a new bail package Wednesday that proposed to restrict female visitors to his home who are not family members. Pretty interesting if you ask me. Well, let us continue. Now they're saying that Combs' defense team suggests the court restrict any female other than his family or mothers of his children from visiting his home and limit all visitors to his Miami properties except for family, property caretaker, and friends who are not considered to be co-conspirators. According to a new letter submitted to Carter, who is expected to preside over Combs' case until the end, the terms are part of the proposal bail package that includes a $50 million bond co-signed by Combs, his mother, and several family members, surrender of his passport, home detention, weekly drug testing, and a visitor log to be submitted nightly to pretrial service. On Monday night, following a slew of sexual assault lawsuits and a federal human trafficking probe in the past year, Combs was arrested at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan and taken into custody by Homeland Security investigations. A source familiar with negotiations for his surrender told CNN. The indictment states that Combs abused, threatened, coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct for more than a decade. Specifically, the indictment accuses Combs of working with other associates and employees allege he hosted drug-fueled freak-offs with victims and sex workers, notes instances of physical and sexual abuse, illuminates what law enforcement found in March raid of his homes. While prosecutor in court Tuesday argued the music mogul should not be released because he had previously reached out to witnesses and victims, Combs' defense attorney in a bail motion proposed to put him on home detention with a $50 million bond secured by his Miami residence. Tarnowski told Combs there were no conditions she could find to assure her that he would appear in court if released. The judge said her concern is this is a crime that happens behind closed doors, even when pretrial services is monitoring. If the bail appeal is denied, Combs will be remanded back to detention center. Combs' lawyer Mark Agnifilo told CNN Caitlin Collins on Tuesday night that Combs will likely not take a plea deal. We're going to pause there. We are going to pause right there. And that's wherein Sloan said when he realizes that he's going to go down, he's going to try and take down as much people with him as he can. And I honestly believe that he should, because while he might be guilty of these actions, there were so many other people who were a part of it. And these people did not encourage him to desist from these actions. They all took part and they all enjoyed it themselves. They did all the sex trafficking, made all the money that they could. And now he has to be the man that is taking the fall so that everyone else can go free. So I believe this is why he's not going to take a plea deal. And with him being so egotistic, he's convinced that he's innocent. He's convinced that there's nothing wrong with that, with what I did, you know. So I believe that's why he's not going to. This man would rather die than to take a plea deal and spend time behind bars. But let's continue. So his legal team is saying basically, I believe he's innocent of charges and he's going to trial, and I believe he's going to win. That's what his lawyer is saying. Whew. If only that's the case. If only that was the case. There's so much going on. Just to give you guys a quick heads up. They have sex trafficking documents, videos, evidence going back to 2009. They're also using every evidence that every detail that Cassie used in the lawsuit. And we know that Cassie's lawsuit is what triggered this entire thing. So every information that Cassie filed in that lawsuit, even though she left out a few bit of details. So they're using everything in that lawsuit against him. Cassie has provided as much evidence as she could have to support her statement. I also believe that Diddy's legal team, they're gonna possibly try to attack Cassie during this. But again, remember that this entire case, it all has to do with a spiritual connection coming from Kim Porter. The spiritual world is so real. You and I may have never experienced it, or we might have experienced it without knowing, but the takedown of Sean Diddy Combs, it is coming from God. Sloan Bella told us that it's coming from God, because someone had to go down. His handlers are going to try to force him to take the fall. It's going to seem as though he has taken the fall, but then we're going to have people going down like Clive Davis. The entire system is going to crumble. Everyone who has gained their money through any illegal means, sex trafficking, child abuse, they're all going to go down. And again, Sloan Bella has named Clive Davis. She has named 50 Cent. She has named Justin Bieber, Chris Brown. Justin Bieber basically fell for their trick. He wanted to step back on that. He wanted to speak out against it, but he knows that if he does, they're going to take his life. Similarly to what they did to Twitch Boss. If you haven't seen that story, you guys need to check it out. Hollywood is a very dark, dirty place wherein people can just take people's life, and the coroner will be paid off to give a report other than what truly happened, and they will, because it's not just about the money, it's also about them being fearful for their lives. So we're going to witness an entire crumbling of the system. Jay-Z at this point is keeping his distance as though I had nothing to do with this. I knew this guy, but I had no idea what he was into. Again, Jay-Z is going to go down just the same. It's going to be like a domino effect, one after the other. Not on our timing, but on God's timing. So, to the people who believe that there isn't a higher power, this case right here should be evidence that there is a higher power. To the people who believe that you can just abuse people, take people's lives, and just get away with it, this case with Sean Diddy Combs, if you haven't been keeping up, I would suggest to you guys to keep up with what Sloan is sharing. Not many people have the guts to expose, the evil people of Hollywood, but I believe what also helps to fuel Sloan's intention is the fact that she was encouraged to, talk about the rituals in Hollywood, the celebrity deaths, that are orchestrated by the higher ups. She was encouraged to do so by her son. And she knows that even though her son has died by way of accident, she knows that there's a lot more to her son's death than what it seems. And because of such, she is not afraid to speak out against these people. She's not afraid to lose her life. And she has taught us so much about what they do, how they basically play with our consciousness, how they manipulate our energy through the very same music that we all love and enjoy. So there's so much to learn from this lady. And so far, everything that she said would have happened has happened exactly as she said it would. So highly anticipating for her to go live. Normally when something happens with Diddy, she goes viral in the media and all of that, and she may, keep a low profile. But I'm anticipating for her to go live. I want to hear what next is coming. Just as how she told us that there's going to be a first and a second assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life. She doesn't see an election. We have seen the first and the second attempted assassination. So much she has said that has made sense. So much she has said that has came to pass. So I cannot wait to see, or hear rather, what's her call as it relates to this case. She has given us portions of it. She has told us some amount of what's going to happen during the trial. But I want to hear about, like, what to expect in this moment. I want to hear, you know, her views on if he's going to be given bail, if he will be denied bail, and what happened. What happened? Why did they move in to arrest him now when he should have been arrested when his mansion was raided? But guys, that's all I have to say about that for this video. It's your time to chime in. Let me know what are your thoughts. While you're at it, thumbs up, share, stay safe, stay sweet, stay blessed, and see you guys later. Bye guys.